5 new NTA buses just landed in the country. People can now travel to the southeast. And you see public work teams all over the place doing stuff. LEC has become more stable. So that's a pretty good reality, isn't it?
Well, unfortunately, the Unity Party government would attempt to portray that it flew over all the progress that the CDC made to arrive in 2024. And that's some of the things that we're going to be pointing out today, that the Unity Party has demonstrated its inability to govern the country, properly, as evidenced by the trial and error method that it is using to govern the country. Because from all indications, the government has, failed systematically in delivering. As Unity Party picking up from where, but to the contrary, you see the Unity Party is being very disruptive. It started by violating all the laws of the country, dismissing 10 new officials, engaging extrajudicial. The issue of government. So, but the Unity Party does not acknowledge that. For the Unity Party, it flew over everything and led in 2024 and starting everything afresh. That is the impression that the Unity Party is trying to create, which is far from the reality. Is a demonstration of intellectual dishonesty, because not to even attempt to give credit to the progress of the CDC government is being very disingenuous of the current government. But let's focus on the key governance issue, because this is a democracy. The Unity Party is systematically retrogressing the democratic gains of the country. If the CDC, you see over the last 2 years, like I said, extrajudicial killing in the police. Have you documented the number of killings from 2024 up to today, culminating into the destruction of our headquarters, malicious destruction of our headquarters?
That was an issue between you and the owner of a property.
No. The police are looting. The police are pending before the Supreme Court, and the government even moving in there to do what they did with the massive deployment of troops was contrary to the Liberian Constitution. And all efforts to even get the Ministry of Justice to put a stop to what they did, they still went ahead and tried to hide behind the court while we have our appeals pending at the Supreme Court of Liberia. And so what's going to happen? Are they going to restore the Sakamo tree that was destroyed? It will win the case at the Supreme Court? No. So definitely it was malicious, it was politically motivated, and it's a serious abuse of the judicial system. You're trying to weaponize the judicial system, interfering with the judiciary.
We will come back to all of this. Let's enter the CDC itself. I listened to Councillor Kofa yesterday, the man heading your headquarters project. And it appears to me that you didn't do the right things. You set the cat before the horse, and you really seem to think that you wanted to build a new headquarters, because whenever people do groundbreaking, the next thing should be what's going on. But you've just submitted your plans to the Ministry of Public Works and all those kinds of things. The engineers are coming into the country this week and all of that. Why did you do that?
So again, I don't hear the construction committee of the party. So the chairperson of the construction committee already provided you whatever necessary briefings. So what we can say to CDCians and the Liberian people, that the project is on course. We are not in competition with the Unity Party. The project, we have broken grounds, and then the construction project for the construction of the CDC new national headquarters is on course. And the chairperson of the committee provided the briefings yesterday. We are on course with all of the timelines for the construction. So we are in competition with ourselves. It's our brothers in the Unity Party that are trying to compete with us.
What I'm trying to say is, there are things you were supposed to do.
So you are trying to go. You are trying to go into the details of what's happening. So I'm not here to go into the details of the committee's work. That is quite unnecessary.
That is beyond the committee. It was a party approval. That led to the groundbreaking.
So what I can tell you is that the committee chair, presented yesterday. The project is on course. So there's no need for worry. All the timelines have been set, and we are well on course with construction.
What if Public Works says whatsoever you submitted as a building plan or whatsoever doesn't align with what's supposed to be there, and
well, again, I don't want to go into the technical details because technical proficiency. So then I try to sway the discussion. You know, if you want a discussion,
there's an issue about planning.
No, Julius.
It is an issue.
That's why we have a whole committee of engineers and planners. So I'm not here to discuss the work of it.
It is not about the details of the
but that's what you're trying to do.
No, I am concerned that.
So if you raise those issues, I'm sure the chairperson of the committee.
No,
so the party chairman, I'm telling you that from the briefings I've gotten from the committee, the project is well on course. So whatever, all the processes, they were all captured in the timelines and the deliverables.
Yeah. So. Yeah. As the chairman, aren't you concerned that you broke grounds before submitting your whatsoever plans to public works?
No. So what I can tell you is that the committee presented a whole elaborate plan, and as far as we know, and as far as the party is concerned, all the timelines for the delivery, everything's intact. So the project is going to be delivered. The project is not at risk. The project is going to be delivered on time.
Don't you think it's quite unfortunate that before groundbreaking?
So it's quite unfortunate. I mean, again, we are a political party, but what I can tell you, Julius, and what I can tell citizens who are the major stakeholders in this project, that your party headquarters project is on course, it's not at risk, and everything, all the timelines, the committee said the project will be delivered in 12 months, and that timeline is well on course for delivery. So, Julius, that's what I can say on that. Based on all of the technical briefings that I received from the committee, the project is well on course.
Now, besides that, there is also the commitment about the fact the county headquarters. How are you going about those?
So the CDC started the issue of the construction of a party headquarters nationally as far back. You know, we have a land and a foundation in Kakata, we have acquired land. We have land in most parts of the country. In Sanikule, there's a land. In Kanta, we have a land.
You're doing a dollar rally way back. We don't know where that is.
So that dollar rally was in time to fund the party. That was not meant specifically for the construction of headquarters. So the dollar rally was in. The dollar rally was intended for the operations of the party. And the party, listen, Julius. The dollar rally was in 2016.
Yes.
And in 2016, after the dollar rally, in 2017, we defeated the Safety Unity Party after 12 years. So look at the margin we defeated them. So anybody who try to raise argument about dollar rally, that means you're not reading, correctly and from your political lenses. Because the dollar rally was a major impetus that drove the CDC to resounding victory in 2017, and we defeated the Unity Party. And I heard the Unity Party chairman
and you were in power, and they came back and worked.
So I want for you to do a comparative analysis. See the margin we defeated the Unity Party in 2017, and see the margin they won by in 2023. That tells you that the CDC is very close to power. The Unity Party. So the Unity Party could come back and win by a very narrow margin. So what about us? We defeated this vote by a very wide margin in 2017, and they managed to win by a slim margin in 2023. And somebody in their imagination is saying, "Oh, CDC cannot come back." Then you are living in utopia, because the CDC is just 20,000 votes from the executive mansion. You are 200,000 votes. I don't have the exact figure. You are 100,000 of votes from the executive mansion in 2017. And we are 20,000 votes. But in your thinking, and you think you have the capacity to stop us from coming back to power, you must be joking. And again, Julius.
I'm trying to you, chairman. You are experts in opposition politics. That is your area. That is where you belong. And he, as long as he's chairman of the Unity Party, they will continue to whip you. So you're not winning any presidential election.
So you see, again, you need to take the Unity Party is how many years old? 40 years old. And we are 20 years old. So if you justify, you do a comparative analysis. Again, they say they got intellectual, but it means they're not thinking. Because to be making the kind of 40 analogies. Because we were in opposition for 12 years, and we defeated you while you led the country, and we defeated by a very wide margin. while you sat, over power. And then, yeah, we led the country, you engage in a lot of lies and innuendos that made you to win a narrow victory that's within the margin of error. And because to strengthen the democratic credentials of the CDC, the president decided to even concede before the final announcement of the result, which is the highest form of democratic credential that could be exhibited by any president, any sitting president. Because I think it had been the Unity Party in 2017 that had that kind of close margin. They would not have surrendered power, but we surrendered power with a thin victory on the part of the Unity Party. That's a clear demonstration that our democratic credentials have been strengthened, and is a testament to our political maturity, contrary to all of the lies and contradictions that the Unity Party is trying to preach. Because you say, okay, we belong in opposition. You don't have any evidence to show that. You try to pin the CDC as a disruptive party. No, the new CDC is not disruptive. And that's why we are allowing you to fail in your own incompetence. That's why you cannot use the CDC as a scapegoat for all of your failures. All of your failures are because you do not know how to govern the country. You are using trial and error. You are trying this method, trying this other method. Whereas you have been building on your 12 years of quote-unquote experience. But to the contrary, you are trying this where it doesn't work. You go here, you are gallivanting around the place, violating all the laws of the country, harassing peaceful citizens, harassing motorists, and violating all the laws of the country and trying to mortgage the country again. The United Party for 12 years has 68 concessions, and where an international report came out said only 2 of those 68 concessions met the minimum requirement under Liberian laws. But today you see the United Party is in a rush to mortgage the country again, and they will be resisted using every available legal means. The United Party will not be allowed to mortgage this country. For 12 years, you hear that the country was coming from war. You mortgaged the country. You gave us 68 concessions in billions and billions of dollars. And when we left power in 2017, there was nothing to show. We had to kind of practically rebuild the system from scratch. But today you are pretending that you have the answers to govern the country. No, you do not have the answers to govern the country.
They could also argue, just as you said, they did not fly into 2024 but build upon what you left. They could also argue that you built upon what they left.
Of course, we built upon it, and that's why we were not disruptive as they are being. We did not come and try to tear down everything. No. Although they didn't have a payroll for 12 years, they ran the country without a national payroll. And there's no excuse for that. And we came, we had to build a payroll. There are a lot of things that they didn't have in place.
Are you serious about that?
Of course, ask them. They didn't have a payroll. There was no payroll. You have multiple payroll regimes across the government. The CDC painstakingly built a national payroll, consolidated all the wage arrangement, and created a single national payroll that was auditable. Before the CDC, the payroll of the government was not auditable. It was not auditable because there was no payroll to audit. When the CDC came in under 2 years, we painstakingly created a national payroll. We started remitting the total amount for NASCAR. You need to invite NASCAR, ask them, pre-2018, what were the remittance of government to NASCAR? And post-2017, what were the remittance to NASCAR? Why is the remittance now? Why the remittance the Union Party inherited? They will tell you. There's a marked difference. And that put even NASCAR on proper financial footing.
Now, he also said that you don't have the intellectual calories as compared to the Unity Party, so they cannot copy from you. They are better intellectuals, they are better strategists.
I would tend that
and all of that. So
I would tend that reckless arrogance coming from a failed regime, a regime that should be concerning itself with solving the bread and butter issues of the country, a regime that does not understand why it is. A regime is a trial and error regime. Because if not, they would have done a proper procurement process for the yellow machine. The yellow machine will be here today. They would have done proper processes. They have violated all of the laws of the country. They abrogated Liberian constitution by removing 10 officials. They targeted Liberian diplomats that were deployed. They even started Ambassador came here that engaging politically motivated prosecution of former government officials, which is very, very sad. They should focus on solving the daunting issues of the country. To the contrary, they are actually taking the country back and trying to have, behind these.
When you talk about bread and butter issues, electricity is a part.
So the guy who says at the LDC today as managing director, you need to invite him and let him tell you the strides the CDC government made to bring electricity to where it is. The beginning thing they turn it on. You need to ask them who built it. So we have done all of the heavy lifting for most of the things you see happening here today. The United Party needs to be innovative because they are building on all of the, even the roads that they're constructing, all these concessions were signed. All these road contracts were all signed. The funding were already identified. But they are so myopic that they do not want to even acknowledge that a government existed that took the country to 2024 before they took over. They are pretending that they flew and got to 2024, and they are ignoring all of the things. You talk about the water, the pipe that was built up, stabilized, was controlled by the CDC government. So most of the infrastructure things that you see, they need to take a public building and construct. All the construction, NOCA, LPRC, MPA, Maritime, all these were constructed under the CDC government. The United Party needs to show its own project. They need to show their own project, but the United Party has got no new project to show to the Liberian people. They are walking in the full step of the CDC and they are pretending and they're being recklessly arrogant to say, oh, the CDC does not have. The CDC is imbued and blessed with talented intellectuals. You saw the public pool that conducted that said our former minister Samuel was the best former minister in post-war Liberia. That was a public pool.
Well, they could argue that he was sanctioned by your
the issue of sanction is a political tool that has been used. You can lobby for it, you can lie on somebody to be sanctioned. It's not based on any judicial process. No. It's a process that is the outcome of a political process where people can lobby, and if you got powerful friends in the US, you can get sanctioned, you can get somebody sanctioned based on half truths, based on propaganda.
So now, talking about roads too. During our time, places like this, the southeast were not accessible during the rainy season. This time around, we went through an entire rainy season, and those places are accessible.
Oh, so contrary to that, we have seen videos that shows that there were still challenges. But if you stop, so that's why I said the United Party is doing try and error. So if you start, you say you don't want to allow heavy moving vehicles to plow the roads during the rainy season. Well, that's a new strategy that definitely if heavy moving vehicles will not plow the street, definitely then there will be reduction in the traffic and the road may be much better. But that is nothing new. You have not paved the road. You should talk about the number of roads we paved in the southeast that have made the southeast accessible. The southeast is not accessible because the southeast is accessible because most of the roads in Nima County have already been paved. That's why the southeast is accessible. That's why the time it takes to get to the southeast is shorter now because we paved most of the road in Nimba, and you will not fly over Nimba and try to go to start the road from Grangida. No, that would have been disingenuous on the part. No patriotic government will do that, and so we have to exhaust the roads in Nimba County, and we did that significantly, thereby reducing the distance from Monrovia to Grangida County. So it's quite unfortunate. Even some people from Grangida will try to create the impression that you just flying over Nimba to end up Grangida. No, you have to tackle the issue of the roads, which was significantly delivered under the CDC government.
Talking about places like NT, for example, public transport. These are all part of the brain butter issues to try to reduce costs for people. Your government didn't do well, you admit.
No, so
with NT around 2020, I think 2020, your government brought in 45 buses, I believe, donated by India. And before he left power, everything was down.
Yeah, so there's usually challenges.
There was poor management, and the president will not take action there.
No, so there's usually challenges with public transport in a situation where you don't have so you got to first try to deal with the issue of roads. So before you deal with the issue of roads, definitely the repair and maintenance cost for any public utility will be high, especially public transportation. So we're buying 45 buses. Of course, those buses are going to Lofa and Grangida. Of course, due to the challenges on the road, of course, you have a lot of corrosion of the buses. So that is quite understandable. So even the buses that the new government has brought, because the buses are perishable. After a few years, you have to replenish the stock of the public buses, and then NTA is now an institution that is run for profit. And so we brought in the buses to ease public transportation, which we largely accomplished before we left power. And then we had a lot of things in the pipeline before we left.
But you still did not address the point of the near collapse of the area before you left power.
No, there was no near collapse. These are all propaganda.
We all know your buses were not rolling. We had all these buses parking.
No, so the buses were running. Nobody would tell you that the buses were not running. Because MTA buses were utilized on many occasions by various actors in the society. MTA buses are all being up. Yes, definitely some buses will be packed, but not all the buses are packed. Even with the new administration, with the new buses, so you need to just keep track. After 1 or 2 years, of course, some of those buses will be packed. So it's nothing strange. Because all the roads in abroad are not yet paved.
Were you proud of the total outcome of NTA?
I'm proud of the total outcome of the CDC government. That's why Julius. If you want to do sector by sector,
this is bread and butter issues.
No, so Julius, I'm not here to discuss NTA as an entity.
It's part of the bread and butter issues.
So what I can say is that I'm proud of the total outcome of the CDC government, and to show that the CDC government outperformed the Unity Party, you need to just take the election data. We lost by 100,000 votes. That tells you that our performance in the eyes of the people was better than the Unity Party, and that's why the margin was very close.
Doesn't it mean too that if you won by that margin and then you were booted out of power just 6 years later by those whom you defeated widely, doesn't that signal that the people may have thought that their 12 years performance was by far better than your 6 years?
No, so the people were misled, like they realized it in 2 years. So you are on the radio, so do a public opinion poll, compare and do cost of living, do living standard, opinion pool, and then the people tell you the hardship in the country. Businesses are closing down. Why are businesses closing down? If the country was better, businesses would not be closing down. The economy is in shambles. So you need to talk to the ordinary Liberian people, because if I say and the Janga Kowo is CDC chairman, so he will be speaking negatively about the government, but you need to talk to the ordinary Liberians. The number of children are out of school. Schools are closed all around the country. The number of children in school has dropped significantly, which is a clear indication that the government is performing very poorly. A government that claims to be sophisticated is performing very poorly in nearly all sectors.
Now, international image. This government boasts about reclaiming the image of the country that, according to them, was damaged by your government sanctions here and there. They have announced an extension of certain visa categories by 3 years. The president was just in France, and all these kinds of things.
That's the biggest lack of innovation from our government. You're celebrating a 3-year visa when the rejection rate for your country is 80%. It's shameful. It's shameful. So the general culture in Liberia, when I graduated from high school in 1994, I wanted to travel to the US. I didn't travel to the US until 2009. So that's a dream of every Liberian, to travel to the US. But that does not change the condition. And I want to speak to young Liberians. Do not put your hope on traveling to America, because only few people get to travel to America. If you decide not to go to college and you be thinking about America, you will be disappointed. Your family will be disappointed in you. So this government has achieved nothing by visa extension, because the people are not even getting the visa. The people are not getting the visa. So why it's meaningless to the ordinary Liberian? Very, very meaningless. It's the biggest lack of innovation. And you are celebrating a worthless visa extension where people are paying millions of dollars annually to the US government, getting nothing. And on the issue of image and relationship with the US government, there's a change in government in Washington. And we all know the power dynamics. In Washington, we know the man who in power now, his priorities. And we know the priorities of those who are in power before. So we understand the international dynamic, and they are aware, but they are just being dishonest intellectually. And we know the dynamics in you don't have a McCarthy here. You have a McCarthy, if you have a Marco McCarthy here today, you'll be lambasting the government. You don't have a Marco McCarthy here because the perspective and there's a paradigm shift with the US government. And that is not our worry. Our worry is to have solved the daunting issues of Liberia, resolving the major challenges the country faces. And that's why we are prioritizing education. We'll be education free. We invested heavily in the university. We invested heavily in the health sector. We took the university payroll from around 1 million to almost 3 million per month. Those are all critical interventions that were intended to provide sustainable education for the country. So the University government is celebrating 3 year.
Or per year?
No, I think it should be around 3.4 million per month. That's what we took it to. Before we
coming to the legislature,
I think it's we left it at 2.5 million per month.
Okay.
Before we left, we took it for around 1 million, and we left it at by January 2024. The year monthly pay around 2.5 million.
Okay, it was good to get the numbers right.
Yeah.
Now, you have lawmakers of Capitol Hill. You are talking about alleged bad deals and all of that. How are you going to ensure there are a whole lot of deals that Oranto deal with different deals?
Yeah, so Oranto was here before. Oranto is part of the 68 bogus concessions that the Union Party is first 12 years imposed on Labrimpo. They are rushing again to bring another set of bogus concessions to impose on Labrimpo that will you no benefit. And that's why our lawmakers have been put on the alert to make sure they constructively engage the executive to ensure that these bogus concessions, these bogus contracts, these bogus deals do not become law that will obligate the country and the benefits are minimal.
So what are your lawmakers going to do about it? It is one thing for you to speak here. We don't see your lawmakers. For example, the party in opposition. The opposition lawmakers at that time of Capitol Hill, they were robust. They were challenging things. They were insisting. Certain people were not confirmed
because the government was democratic. Because the CDC government was democratic. You have a Julius.
Strong lawmakers.
Not strong lawmakers.
They were.
You didn't have an overbearing executive that was trying to push everything down, tear down the country. No. Now you have an overbearing executive violating the laws of the country, removing the sitting speaker, disregarding Supreme Court rulings, destroying the headquarters of the major opposition. Come again?
By some of the lawmakers.
Of course, you see, when people enter the legislature, there's a tendency, if you have an overbearing executive, you have a government that is not interested in democratic government, because the political party do not have control over people who are elected on their tickets. You cannot punish, you suspend, expect to have no impact on them.
And then that becomes your problem. But even
no, it's not our problem. It's a national problem.
No,
because like we see now, if you have an executive, you have a government that is not interested in democracy and the rule of law. They will abuse, those lapses in the Liberia political arrangement. Because everyone in other jurisdictions where when you Julius were elected on a party ticket and you misbehave or you want contrary to the party doctrine, and when you are ejected, when you are suspended, you lose your seat. And of course, political party will be stronger in that way. Otherwise, you have an overbearing, like a single branch government we're running now. Judicial interferences. You see a lot of things happening. You see a lot of the schemes. People are pretending they don't see what's happening.
No, but sir, you have lawmakers of capital. We're not feeling their ability to push things. To really stand up. Yeah, now we see Fonatikova and Musa Belete talking about the Oranto deal and all of that. But at the Senate, we don't.
No, so the lawmakers are trying under the circumstances, and we are saying under the current arrangement, Liberian democracy is under threat.
Are you trying to provide an excuse.
No, I'm not providing an excuse. I'm saying
for the inability of your lawmakers to actually push for the issues that
lawmakers under the circumstances are trying.
No, but
Liberian democracy is on threat because you have an overbearing executive that is interfere and remove a speaker.
No one has a
and in the speaker removal saga, you saw total disregard for the rulings of the Supreme Court that threatened the rule of law, that threatened the stability of our democracy, that threatened the democratic gains that we have made from 2005 all the way to 2024. We see all of these things on threat. You see the country is moving to a single branch country where the executive is dominating and domineering, interfering with the other two branches of government and succeeding. And the moral guarantors of the society, many of them are silent. And we want to send a caveat out to the government that the people are see through all of the excesses and they are just waiting to boot you up. As the major opposition, we have chosen the path of constructive engagement. We do not want to take the path of being disruptive because of the difficult historical past of this country. But we can assure you that the people have already seen through your shenanigans. They are already seen through your incompetence. They are already seen through your trial and error method of governing the country. And in due time, it's just a matter of time before you'll be booted out democratically with the biggest margin ever in Liberia election history. And anybody who's sitting, CDC will not come back. You are speaking within the figment of your imagination. You seem to be totally out of touch with the social, economic, and political reality of Liberia at this point in time. Because the Liberian people have seen that the Unity Party government has failed already in just 2 years of governing the country.
His name is Janga Kowo, chairman of the Congress of Democratic Change. Let's go to the lines and hear from you. The listeners is taking some time and he's responded to claims from UP chairman Dr. Tapper. We've also discussed different national issues, 777-700, 995, 995, 995, the numbers to call, and you will be through. Let's see who's here. Welcome. Let's hear you. Yes, go ahead. Okay. Thanks for kindly. Let's see who's right here on the international line. Welcome. Let's hear you. Go ahead.
There's a parable in Bani that says, Nana only one of us for rain. That meaning out there, you don't need for bedroom for I want to come by one. Bedroom for now. It means, when I see you dance in the day, when the night time comes, and you come out to dance, the whole country is screaming and yelling, I will not come out to dance. Because I saw you dance before. I saw you didn't party dance for 12 years. You keep building roads and bringing buses. LEC is stable today. GDP is in our favor. Julius Jen is a strange news to you. Count number 4 is, having not saying this, you being under early and the current president Joe. The bare rose. That issue was stable. After 12 years, they left Liberia as one of the poorest countries in the world. They raised over $16 billion and they not rest on Liberia. They said now when they have operating on Zama level, they will rest Liberia.
What is Zama level? What does Zama level mean?
Give me thinking of Boakai around. The moral rescue under United Party is the fake term, it is the charade, it is the mirage,
Okay.
it is the total lampoon.
Oh, thanks so kindly. If I just Let's take another call back from our assistant minister. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Chairman, thank you very much. Thank you for your expose. I just want to add something that you said that the library are documenting. I want to read one thing that is been documented currently. The lawyer and fellow people will look at the 14 look file. They are documenting the betrayal of the student party government. They told the people that if you vote for Georgia will have to stop for exam school. But your uncle will promote it. After taking over, he's now sending a law to army. The better people from both countries, mining, people, the Toro-speaking people, they are documenting those excesses, and it's not a matter of time. The better people are coming out. We cannot be the largest group in this country, and our way of life is considered criminal. We are documented against the Jews of other region. Thank you. The documentations are going on.
Okay, thanks. Okay, let's take UP Youth League Chair Melvin Sifas Toga. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Thank you, John. And let me say for afternoon to the listening audience. Children are listening to your studio yesterday and listening how you were struggling to talk about the small and fun which led the NDA that we have trying to suscitate today. You have an NDA more like an partner institution, and today you can even admit to your errors that you made in corporate. Just show how insincere that the chairman is. You should try to admit to your wrongs in order to be able to correct it, but today you cannot say it. So you should be thinking of for at least suscitating the NDA, and today we have 35 brand new bosses that were not dominated by the Indian government, but this is something that the management went into when they were arrangement and arranged for system of those forces. So if you cannot admit for
he was also talking about possible violation of procurement laws. Did you all follow that?
As you know, we've been on our radio on numerous of times, and we have explained all of the instances that led to the arrival of those forces. The DPCC is right there. If there were any violation, obviously it's going to be able to speak to that. We went through all of the procurement processes, and because of the bureaucracy associated with the procurement process, why you led to the delay of the process that will go out of all of the channel. So the chairman should be thanking us that they put that institution down, and today we have resuscitated our institution, and the ordinary are going to benefit from those processes. Thank you.
Thanks so kindly, Toga Melvin Sifas, Chairman UP Youth League Congress. Let's take more calls. 777-700-995, 555-995. Let's see who's on this Lone Star line. Welcome. Let's hear you. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks so kindly for your call as well. Let's go international. Welcome. Let's hear you on this end quickly.
Thank you. My name is Randall Dumayu, and thanks to Chairman Janga for his eloquent and sincere conversation. Now, just to reinforce the point the Chairman made on the U.S. visa, let's be real here. How much does it cost to go to the U.S. embassy for obtaining visa? On average, minimum is $160. If you don't get a visa, $160, and then you go to the cafe for $50, talk about 200. That is Liberian citizen who just came that the United Party is following me. How much an average Liberian is? Even teachers in Liberia are making $150. That's even less than what is required to get this visa. The argument is this: those who are celebrating this visa are the elite, those who can get full, those privileged people, because by coming to America on this visa, it doesn't get the that great economy money is the working economy money. The society wants you to have at least 15,000 in your bank balance to even have that visa. How many Liberians have $50 in their bank balance? So the negotiation that our government should be making is about how flexible the US government is in terms of visa denial from TV, which is free of charge. People have been denied in a way is huge. And each other was celebrating a visa extension because most government officials
Okay.
the government official can afford and celebrating that and
Thanks so kindly. Thanks so kindly. Let's see who's right on this end, on this other international line. Welcome, let's hear you. Someone is knocking you off. Someone... Are you calling from where? Go ahead.
The chairman of the UA party conducted himself. The fact that you are something on that can have expertise in the opposition. I think that we are talking about that we are not coming back. It sends a signal of contradiction because this expertise is going to put the speech is going to be put into form to issue.
Someone has knocked you off. Thanks so kindly. Yeah. Yeah. Put the 10 seconds. We gotta take up.
Yes. So last the national image. I think the guys are not well of what you see because the national image don't calculate take on.
Thanks so kindly. We'll just leave you there. People keep knocking you off that line. Let me take first of all Emmanuel Barnes, Assistant Minister Emmanuel Barnes, then Jura Sano, former Assistant Minister Jura. Hold on there on that side. Emmanuel Barnes, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Julius. And good afternoon to Liberia. I'd like to agree with the CDC chairman that the Liberian people are documenting. And why are the Liberian people documenting? The Liberian people are documenting that under the Unity Party-led government, there is availability of our staple food at all time in all season. Unlike the CDC regime, that was difficult. The Liberian people are documenting that there is availability of petroleum in this country at a low price since the inception of our government. Unlike CDC time, people used to sleep at petrol stations. The Liberian people are documenting that they will pay $5,500 from there to Liberia County. Even here in Texas, unlike CDC time, they have to pass through Africa's people in the NSC and go to Liberia County. The Liberian people are documenting that civil servants do take pay regularly. There is no longer a news in this country. The Liberian people are also documenting that we have a foreign minister who is shaping the international image of this country. But unlike that time, the foreign minister was levying his name from the SS tender. So truly the Liberian people are documenting.
Thanks so.
This documentation is not pushing into the country.
Thanks so kindly, Emmanuel Barnes. Let's take former Assistant Minister Jura Sano quickly. Jura. Go ahead. Thanks so kindly, Jura Sano. I used to affectionately call him the oldest assistant minister. That was my affectionate way of calling him. Let's go international. Let's hear you. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Go ahead.
I want to say thank you to Chairman Janga for his exposé. But you asked a very important question, and that question was, why is the CDC lawmaker are not with us? And And the chairman of trying to say that because of the cheers, are you not aware that Representative Francis Afoko is crying that if the development fund for this district, are you not aware that former Speaker Fanabi Kofa is also complaining that he has not received money that is meant for the district?
But that doesn't mean that they cannot push the issues that matter.
They have been pushing the government. The money belongs to Joseph Boakai. That is the fact.
Okay. Thanks so kindly. We'll hold you right there. I have two persons on this line. Former Superintendent Janga Kowo. I also have Musa Sharif. Well, Janga go first. Musa Sharif will come in second. Quickly. Janga, 45 seconds.
Thank you, Jesus. I appreciate the show. You know, when we listen to the show, you have to interview people because the family members is very successful. I'm listening to the video which compared to Abinadi, he said that the decision was everything. You actually, you don't come to the people these are actually having to that. I should have done everything. I don't know where you're taking power. What the council was forbidden. He said, what you actually want.
Oh, so that's the reason you people also left it moribund?
No, you don't have that representation, but it's somebody fucking thing when you come in back to get that money. That's what you always do. You always register for people to understand.
Okay.
You have to check the question about construction of our airport and nothing to do with the Amazon campaign of the also for their land.
Okay.
Or you will you come in program of place. We are there running around, support most of our party, construct our party.
Okay. Thanks so kindly. Musa Sharif, go for 45 seconds. Yes, you can go ahead. Go ahead, Musa Sharif.
So my concern has to do with the issue of visa. The visa issue, I really consider it as a burden to a number of people because everybody says anything concerning the issuance rate. The real issue of visa is so very low, and then you have to pay $185 for all of these, and then you go the negotiation.
You have no guarantee.
Making sure that the truth is not getting people, and then it should be all getting other marker and have to come to the shout to go to play. Thirdly, you should ask the chairman of the unit body. The chairman of the unit body continue to make statements that are not democratic that control the people everywhere.
No, but why does that matter? The message of the beat CDC again? As long as he's chairman, then he said, why is that a big scare? So you want for my man to say CDC will win?
No, I don't mean the first statement the chairman made in order in fact you realize members telling the people that
they were happy first. I don't know. These are smaller parties. These parties cannot be presidential candidates. Yeah, they cannot do anything. They're happy first. Okay. Thanks so kindly. Let's take the final camera for final quickly. 30 seconds.
Thank you so much, James, for this opportunity. James, when people have the perception and the capacity to be extremely patriotic, it can be very economical device. We know in drug currency, there are two major political parties, the governing party and the CDC. For assuming a conflict that after President Boakai, there will come a party for CDC. Why is it 12 years? Because the careful and want to turn. If the CDC will come back to power, are they saying to us they want to meet everything at this level? Do you need no foundation? These things are being engaged.
Okay. Thanks so kindly because of time. The news is coming up. Let's check out Janga. You 1 minute to let's wrap up. Quickly.
So basically, we like to point out that clearly the Unity Party government has failed in just under 2 years, and Liberian people are feeling the pinch. And we'll call on them, if you think you have made diplomatic gains, you should be talking to the Americans to reduce the visa fee. That Liberian will have celebrated. Maybe bring the visa fee to $50 or so. For celebrating visa extension, where the rejection rate is almost 80%, is a mockery to the ordinary Liberian people who do not even go to the embassy. The daunting issues of this country now is to stop the human rights violations, to stop the beatings by the police, to stop the arbitrary demolition of properties around the country that poor Liberians are inhabiting. Stop trying to mortgage the country by bringing bogus concessions. And you try to surround the government, and the whole government operation is centered around NTA. And thanks to Superintendent Janga Kowo pointing out, the MTA was there when we took over in 2018.
And then you
the best of buses.
You brought in 45 buses.
Yeah, the best.
Also killed it.
No, we brought in 45 buses. They brought in 45 buses. You can check the records for how many of the buses, but maybe 50% of the buses was still in running condition. When they took over, in fact, they inherited something. Okay. In 2018, there was no buses at NTA when we took over. Okay. In some of the offices, there were no chairs. In some of the offices, go to fire service. You should invite the former deputy fire service director here, Gabriel Man, will tell you that the office didn't even have a chair in 2018 when we took over.
Thanks.
So we are saying this government is taking the country back, backwards. It's retrogressing the country and is violating the constitution, trying to mortgage the country through bogus concessions, and they will be resisted democratically.
His name is Janga Kowo.